All right, so welcome everybody to our team meeting tonight. Lee and Christy and Emily and I are really excited to share with you a lot of great stuff tonight, and we have a lot to cover in a short period of time, and I do not want you to be here all night. So I'm going to just kick things off with saying how excited I am about July. I know that sometimes the summertime can be a little bit slower, but we're going to talk about how to avoid that summer slowdown and how to keep your growth and your momentum going, how to keep your motivation up, how to continue to grow, because you don't have to have a summer slowdown. You can still continue to grow through the summer, and I continue to be really, really excited about this silver promotion. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Don't give up hope on helping people go silver. Hopefully every single person that you are enrolling this month, you're telling them automatically, hey, let's grab a couple friends to start with you and just help you take advantage of this bonus. And they'll be your accountability partners, and you all have nothing to lose. And so we really want you to take advantage of that for a couple of reasons. Number one, we know if you start with people, you're going to be more successful on the products. You're going to have those accountability partners. It's going to pay for your products, which is awesome. But also, you are going to be able to see the results in other people around you, and that's very encouraging. If you're someone that's working towards Leaders Retreat, which I hope you all are, it's possible for even a silver ambassador to earn Leaders Retreat over a 2-month period of time. It truly is. So keep working hard towards that and using the power of 3 to help you get there. You do not have to sponsor personally 60 ambassadors and 10 customers to make it to Leaders Retreat. That is not the way it was meant to be done. The power of duplication is so real. And before I turn the time over to Lee, I'm going to give you the example because I am not a rock star sponsorer. I want you to know that. I am not somebody that has ever sponsored 24 people in a month or 17 or even 15. Never. I've never done that. But I've been steady, every single month steady, and always looking for those 3 to 5 people. And what I have learned on this journey is that if I duplicate and I encourage people to share in a way that doesn't feel businesslike from the very beginning, I can grow a lot. So last month, I added 4 new ambassadors, 3 to my re-entry leg. So I have re-entered. I'm building a second business under myself, and 1 to my original leg. I added 3 people, but we added 54 people to my re-entry. I only added 3 of those, but I supported everyone else in adding ambassadors. I only have 18 ambassadors that I have sponsored in that leg, but I have 140 ambassadors in that leg. So I want you to just understand that you don't have to be someone that sponsors 1 million people. And if you are, awesome. I'm stoked for you. Can you imagine then if you employ that rule of duplication and the power of 3 and you're sponsoring 10, 15, 20 people every month and they're duplicating, how massive that could be for your organization. So get comfortable with sharing, the idea of sharing with people, and you will grow by leaps and bounds, and it will be so encouraging to you. So I am going to pass the time over to Lee now. I'm excited to hear what she's going to talk about tonight, and then we'll go ahead and turn it over to Christy after that.
Okay, so good, Brooke, thanks for sharing that because it kind of leads into what I was going to talk about. So we were supposed to just pick some tips that we have learned and that we are incorporating that continues to help grow our teams. And just like Brooke said, every month I strive to add 3 people. I strive to go silver every month. And how I make sure to do that is to do IPAs. And IPAs sometimes cannot be fun to do, you guys. And they kind of I have to say that as I've been doing the business, I don't remember how many months. I've been on the product 18 months, probably doing the business about really 15 of those months. I have to keep broadening my network. And so sometimes IPA, I'm just like, oh, do I have to do IPA? But there is, I don't know if you've ever watched videos by Bob Heilig, I think Heilig. And recently I was watching one about motivation. Are you guys all there? Brooke, are you there? Because my screen just went black.
Yes, we can hear
Oh,
you
okay.
and see
Okay,
you.
I'm just checking. I feel like I'm talking to myself. So this short video that he did about motivation was eye-opening to me. I kind of knew the reality of it, but didn't always live by it. So I think many times, I think that we've all been guilty, or I know I have been guilty of, well, I'm going to do that when I get motivated to do it, right? And the problem is, if you wait to get motivated to do something, it's not going to get done. How many times have we done that in our house when we have to clean something or do laundry? Well, when I get motivated. And so we kind of sometimes have this misperception of motivation, that we have to have motivation first in order to do something. Honestly, it should be reversed. And if you talk to people that are successful, you will find out motivation was the byproduct of just doing the work. So you just have to push yourself to do the work. The motivation comes afterwards. It's the benefits that you reap from doing that work that then creates motivation. So if you're waiting for the motivation to come to sit down and do your IPAs, guess what? Those IPAs are not going to be done consistently. And so there's some things that I've done, and probably other teams implement. Like, we have IPA groups, and really it keeps me accountable, because I have to do that IPA group and I have to be responsible for doing it. So even if my motivation is not there, I still do it. And I'll tell you that after I'm done doing it, I actually am so happy that I did it. And when you look at your IPAs, a suggestion is to just get it done. I say get it done first thing in the morning if you have time in the morning. I know some people don't have time, and so they have to wait till after work in the evening. But make sure you do it, because if you're waiting to get motivated to do it, it's not going to happen. You got to do it first, and then you're going to get the motivation afterwards to continue on down this path. Um, and then another thing that was actually from my video this morning, I watch a lot of videos that have to do about network marketing and how to improve my skills. But Bob Heilig had another video, and I loved how he talked about kind of like, get over yourself. That we're so worried about what other people think. And he said, to have that perspective, honestly, it's really a selfish thought when you worry about what other people think. Because he goes, the minute you get off the phone, or the minute you leave that person's house, or the minute, they're done reading your message, they could really care less about you. They have other important things in their life. And so when you're off the phone with them, they're done with the conversation. They're not thinking about you, and they're not thinking about what they think about you. And so he was talking about how to get over that, being worried about what others think, because honestly, they're not thinking about you after the conversation is done, or after you've shared the information. And that if you can get past that, then you're not going to be emotionally tied to no responses, right? We get so many no responses. In my IPA group yesterday, we were laughing at no's, and people were telling, I got a hell no today, and I just had to give smiles, and I'm like, well, that's one more no closer to a yes. And so those things, doing IPAs and trying and working on not being emotionally attached to no's, and not worrying about what other people think, that's going to help to propel your business, especially through the summer. And there's another great video by Eric Worre about taking advantage of the summer slump. Because people always make the excuse, well, it's summertime, people are on trips, and so they're not going to have time to, really learn about what I'm doing and blah, 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 blah. He said, smart, successful people take advantage of summertime. And so I challenge everyone, take advantage of summertime. I'll tell you that I get a lot of immediate responses in the summertime. I know a lot of people that are teachers, and so they're not working. And so they do respond back because they have free time. But, the whole idea is just take advantage of this summertime, because a lot of people make excuses of why they're not working their business in the summertime. And the successful people are the people that are not going to use those excuses, and they're going to go full throttle through the summertime. And maybe that means, you guys, you got to get up earlier before your kids and get your things done, because maybe you have all your kids home and you're not used to having that because they're at school. I'm used to having that. This is the first summer that I have had my kids after homeschooling. I'm like, this isn't like summer. They're always with me. Get up a little earlier and get those IPAs done, so then you can go and enjoy the rest of your day. So Brooke, I think that's what I have.
Yeah, that's such great tips. Just a quick note about like doing an IPA group. So I typed out what IPA is if you're new and you don't really understand what that is, but how great would it be if you had 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 accountability partners and you guys just formed a little group where you decided every, Monday and Wednesday at 8 o'clock, we're going to get into this chat group and we're going to tell each other what we're doing for IPA, and we're going to tell each other how many no's we got, how many yeses we got, what messages we're sharing that are working. So I would encourage you to get an accountability partner or 2 or 3 that you can do an IPA chat group like this and say, okay, tonight we're focusing on this and this is what we're going to do. Maybe you're someone that needs that accountability, right? So I'm going to turn over to Christy. She's going to give us some great ideas for summertime. And like Lee said, deciding to do it now, because there is no such thing as later. It's now.
Forward to this call. Oh, hi. Can you hear me now? I've so been looking forward to this call, you guys. I love the energy of everybody being together and being committed and sharing these tips. Like, it is my favorite. So I've been looking forward to this. Okay, so I was on my run tonight and I didn't want to go. It was one of those things. I've been wearing workout clothes for 2 days and not showered, because I was like, I am not taking these off until I work out. Like, I might take them off to sleep, but I'm going to put them right back on. And so I'm a stinky girl, but I got my run in. And so I got some really good ideas on my run that I want to share with you. So first of all, I want to talk about how we can stay on track during the summer. And I do have some awesome, like, practical check off the list type of things for you, like list people. I'm totally a list person. But first, here was the thing that I thought about on my run. Okay, so let's talk about this mindset of summer and kind of the draggy, like, how do I stay on track during the summer? It's hard and people are blah, 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 blah. Like, to me, that's such slow, sluggish energy and attitude. And I feel like, number one, we have to get in alignment. So I know that this work can be so hard. I know that, like, it can be emotionally draining when someone says no, or someone's having a hard time, or blah, blah, blah. Totally get it. It can be emotionally draining, and we can sink into a fearful place like that fast. Am I right, guys? It only takes like a few interactions that aren't so ideal before we're like sinking into a dark hole of self-pity and fear and self-doubt and all of that nasty dark stuff, okay? So step one, before you even think about doing any work during the summer, step one is getting your freaking self aligned, okay? Whatever that looks like. For me, I have to pray sometimes, like, Heavenly Father, take away these feelings. Like, take away this, like, fear. I don't want to operate in a place of fear. And the truth is, you guys, if you're in that sunken, dark place and you try to work plexus, it is not effective. And I'll tell you what, it can be so draining, and it can kick you out of the business. When you operate from a place of fear and self-doubt and you never get yourself aligned, you'll kick yourself out just like that. So that's step one, whatever it might be. If you need to go for a run, if you need to do some deep belly breathing, do you know what that is? It's where you like feel the fear. Okay, we all feel it, so embrace it. Feel that fear, feel that anxiety, that panic. Take a deep breath. Fill your belly up like a balloon, and then let it go. Do that for like 3 minutes. Get yourself centered. Operate from a place of peace. Say a little prayer. Do some affirmations. Get yourself centered first. It doesn't take very much time. There's no excuses. Even during the summer, we have time to get ourselves aligned because it doesn't take that much time. So that is step one. Don't proceed to step 2 or 3 till you get yourself aligned. That is the number one most foundational thing for being effective and working this business, okay? Okay, so I wanted to talk about number 2. Do you know that one of the most draining things that you can do is not make a decision? So think about that. So much of the stress and the draining nature of in our lives comes from unmade decisions. Would you guys agree? When you're kind of in between, you're like, oh, I think I'm going to try, but oh, I don't know, but maybe yeah, maybe no. Guys, stop it. Make a decision. And I'm telling myself this too. It's so easy to get sucked into that. Oh, maybe I could just eke out now and it just would be easier. Oh, that was a little bit too emotionally draining. I think I'm going to step back because, man, that was like too hard. Make the decision. You are draining yourself by not making the decision to be committed and to see this thing through and to surrender whatever it might be that comes your way, whatever response you get, whatever kind of hard thing you face in this business, surrender to it. It's part of the journey. Get off the fence. That is where your energy is being drained. Isn't it so funny? Do you guys ever have those days where you're like, oh, I had such a draining day today. I worked Plexus all day. And then you look at your phone and you're like, oh, I maybe sent like 2 or 3 messages. Like, maybe I didn't even send any messages. I was just freaking myself out all day. Guys, stop it. We all do it. Get off the fence. Make that decision. Surrender. I'm doing this. I'm doing this for the long haul. In a year or 2 years, we'll see where my business is. But today, I'm going to deal with what comes. I'm going to surrender to whatever comes. And it's all good. I promise you, operating from that place, from that committed place, first of all, people feel that, and that moves people into action when they feel your commitment and your passion. Second of all, you don't expend all the energy that you have being in between, not knowing if you're going to do it or not. So for me, those are the first 2 things that came to mind. Like, gosh, we've got to get ourselves aligned. We've got to make that decision so that we're not draining all the energy that we have, okay? The third thing is just some practical tips. Okay, so we're going on vacation next week. Am I going to take the week off? Heck no. Our team's in momentum. We got goals, right? I'm not taking the week off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find my pockets the night before I go to bed. When I'm laying there, I got my book, and I'm going to sit there and say, okay, what do I need to do tomorrow? What do I want to do? What are my most important things? When am I going to fit it in? I know my kids always have downtime. I know we all have nap times. So let's get in there. I'm going to do my stuff during that time. Then before I go to bed, and then guess what? I'm going to go take an extra long potty break for 15 minutes on the toilet, and I'm going to work my business. Like, people think I'm going potty, but really I'm just getting shiz done, right? You got to plan. You got to get your planner out the night before or your notebook and get it in there. Figure out what you're doing for the next day. You can't be fielding things. You can't have everything running at you at the day and be like, oh no, there's no time. Baloney. The night before, you decide when it's happening and then you do it. That's how it happens. It's in 15-minute pockets. It's in 20-minute pockets. That's how we've done this, you guys. It's how we do it. Okay? Oh, yes. And you do go potty sometimes, but it's a longer potty time. Sometimes I might have a ring that hurts because I've been sitting on the toilet too long. Because it was a potty break, but I had shit to do. Don't pretend like I'm the only one that's ever experienced that. Okay. The other thing, plan the night before, toilet time. On your vacations, get it in there. Figure out when you can take, I need a vacation for vacation sometimes. We can do a 20-minute break and go run away with your phone. Plan it in. If it's important and if you've aligned yourself and you've made that commitment, it's going to be easy to run away for 20 minutes, do it. Okay, so let's see, what else? be in the moment. When you're with your kids, when you're with your husband, when you're working, don't be doing Plexus. Try to be in the moment as much as you can. Live in those compartments. Of course, we're going to have to multitask here and there, but do what you can to stay in the moment so that you feel that long-term perspective, so that you can stick with this long-term. Play with your kids on the floor. Put your phone upstairs and live in the moment. That makes it so much easier when it's time to go gangbusters with Plexus. Okay, I have one more thought and then I'm done. So I think that the biggest thing, and this is something I've been journaling about, learning how to become a professional gear shifter, okay? We all have a million hats we wear. We all juggle a million things. We have plates spinning all around us, okay? We can't let the plates drop. We can't not shift gears, okay? But if we can get really good at saying, okay, I'm going to set this 15-minute timer, and guys, we're doing a 15-minute miracle in our house. You guys, don't you see like how much happens when you say, for 15 minutes, we're going crazy and we're going to clean? It doesn't have to be that big. So learn how to shift gear quickly. It's so hard sometimes because you get into cleaning mode, then you just go nuts, and then 10 hours later, you're like, what did I just do with my whole day? But learn how to shift gears and be disciplined. Set timers. Say, okay, now I'm going to shift gears into mom mode. Now I'm going to put on some lingerie and ooh la la, and then the next minute, I'm going to get my planner out and do my Plexus biz. Like, we got to be like shifting gears, right, guys? So if we can become professional gear shifters and just learn how to shift out of like all of our many responsibilities, we can do this. And I have another analogy I'm going to save for later because it's Emily and Brooke's time. But I love you all. We can do this. When we're committed and aligned, we make the time because we want to grow our businesses, okay? I love you all. Mwah, that's all.
I love that. I'm just laughing. Ooh la la. Love it. It's so true, right? We just wear different hats all day long. Like, that's what we do. And if you can just come to peace with that, and then maybe have your one day of the week where you don't wear a lot of hats, where you just kind of tune out, right? We all need a day of the week where we rest. Maybe that's Saturday for you. Maybe it's Sunday for you, whatever it is. Have a day where you don't have to be that girl that wears 10 hats. So Emily, do you want to go next? Because I know you're with your family.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I would love to. So right now I am in California at my parents' lake house, and we're probably going to have some interruptions because that's where I am. But in fact, baby Dean is out here with a popsicle somewhere because we couldn't keep him confined inside. And so I yelled at my dad, get him a popsicle. So he's running around somewhere eating that. Okay. The biggest thing that I am thinking about is, as I'm here at the lake house, I'm remembering a lot of what it was like last year at the lake house, right? Brooke and I were both brand new emeralds, and our teams were dead. They were dead. And I remember messaging Brooke at the lake house, and I was like, how are we going to get him to work? I don't know what to do. What do we do? What do we do? Like, we want to win the shopping spree. How can we get our teams to work with us? And we did this summer blitz thing. And anybody that was around last summer, do you guys remember the summer blitz? And we gave away prizes every day for 6 days in a row. And the people who enrolled the most people that day won the prize. And it was so fun. And we got people excited to work. And I was thinking today about some of those little things that we did. And I thought maybe if I shared some of those things with you, you might want to use them on your smaller teams, because some of those things wouldn't really make sense for us to do now. But for a team that is a gold or a senior gold or a ruby or a senior ruby or a new emerald, these are great things to do to continue in summer momentum, because there's just something fun about having a goal to meet. So little weekend contests on your team page. If you don't have a team page yet, get a team thread. You don't necessarily have to have a team page, but have a little team Facebook message thread so that you can have a way to communicate with your team no matter what level that is. If you have 2 people that are working, you have 10 people that you're working, you don't necessarily need a team page to lead those people. Have a thread, call it whatever you want. Emily's Business Builders, whatever you want to call it, my team, like whatever. It doesn't have to be fancy. You don't even have to have a name. Just title it so it doesn't get lost in your Facebook messages. And I remember this time last year getting message after message from other Juuls, because this was around the time when we started getting on the leaders board. And there were people at our level who couldn't figure out how to do that. And they would say, what are you doing? Tell me what your secret is. And Brooke and I are like, we're throwing our money back into our business. What are you doing? Like sitting at the lake doing nothing? Like, no, we're up working late. We are throwing our paycheck literally back into our business so that we can create momentum to get to Sapphire because those were our goals. So ask yourself, what are my goals? What am I doing? Can you not do that on my team call? That's my brother, by the way. So, so meet Adam. So anyway, what I want you to ask yourself, what are you doing right now? Are you just posting on Facebook? Is that what your main source of activity is? Because if it is, I can guarantee one thing, and that is no activity will come from that for the most part, with the exception of very few people who really can just get away with that for a certain period of time. You have to be messaging people, and the amount of momentum that it will bring to you is greater than the force of a tsunami, which may not feel that way at the time. But last summer when I was here, I was up late watching a movie with my brother who just made that cameo appearance. And while we sat and watched a movie, rather than just sit and scroll Facebook or sit and watch the movie, I sent out about 75 cold messages. I went through my Facebook friends list, which I hadn't done at that time yet. And I went through, there were new people that were added that I'd never messaged. There were people that I'd forgotten about. For me, it was a real memory jog because I hadn't looked at it in 6 months. And I sent out 75 messages. I had one person that told me no flat out. I remember this because this is when I started realizing what the statistics were in my mind. I had 3 other people respond back and say, I've been meaning to ask you. And then everybody else ignored me. And what started happening is 3 months later, a lot of those people that I messaged that one night late at the lake house when I was on vacation messaged me back 3 months later. Oh, hey, I've been meaning to talk to you. I know it's been a couple months and you probably thought I've been ignoring you. And I was like, I totally forgot I messaged that person that late night. But I've been watching your stuff and I'm ready now. And so you really are planting those seeds. When people ignore you, it's a planted seed. When people tell you no, it's a planted seed. When people tell you yes, it's a planted seed. It's all positive. And you have to see the glass half full in this business. Nobody else is going to do that for you. You have to see it. Take advantage of the fact that all of your other friends who are doing a network marketing business right now are on summer vacation. And you are not on summer vacation. You are taking advantage of everyone else sitting on the bacon floaty all afternoon, right? Which I did today. But before I even went out, I set my timer for 15 minutes and I got my messages done first thing when I woke up. Did it irritate my dad? Yep. But I was like, I got to work my business. This thing can't grow without water. I have goals. Like I want to re-enter here in the next 2 months. So nobody is going to make that rank advancement except for me. And it doesn't matter if I'm a gold ambassador. It doesn't matter if I'm a emerald ambassador. It doesn't matter if I'm a diamond or a diamond gold ambassador. If you want to move forward in your business or in your life in general, you have to be like, let's go. Because no one else is going to do it for you. So if you are sitting here thinking, like if you're having those thoughts of why is nobody responding back? I can't get any of my friends to do this with me. Nobody will respond. If you are guilty of doing that, I just want you to stop it and go get your freaking people. Because sitting around doing nothing and whining about it is still getting you nowhere. So go get your freaking people and set a 15-minute timer every day. If you schedule in your workout time every day, I promise you can schedule in your 15 minutes of IPA. Plan it like you plan going to the gym. Plan it like you plan for your run. Plan it like you plan your Netflix time at nap time. Because you're scheduling your time all summer long. Whether you're scheduling your hour on the bacon floaty like I scheduled for myself today during nap time when my kids were gone shopping with my stepmom. I planned it all perfectly so I could have my alone time on my vacation, and then I planned some hammock time. But I didn't do any of that until I had my 15 minutes of IPA time. These are the habits that we all have when you are successful at this business. And if you don't have those habits yet, and you're sitting here and it's the second week of July and you're like, I haven't worked my business in 2 weeks, that's why you're not promoting. I promise you that is what is holding you back. And you can be posting every single day, but if you're not doing those IPA messages, you are holding yourself back. And that's why your friend who's selling makeup is not doing well at makeup. And that's why your friend who's selling face wash is not doing well at face wash. Because one of the things I've noticed is that nobody is better than training people on income producing activity than Plexus people at the top. Because we have figured out this little equation and we are very good at duplicating this to our teams. And I always think it's so funny how I have all these friends in network marketing and only one of them has ever cold messaged me about their product. And she still has never told me what it would really do for me. And so think about that. If your conversations are going dead, ask yourself, what am I not doing? Have I even told them what they need, why they need this? Think about that. Analyze it. Step back and take a minute to analyze. Okay, some of the characteristics that I saw in all of the top diamonds who were on this trip with us were consistency. They all work every day, except none of us worked on Musha Key, which was really relaxing. It's okay to take time off. That's fine. You cannot take all summer off. In what job on this planet can you take 3 months off and expect to get a paycheck?
Teacher.
Teachers still get paid. Thank you for the peanut gallery in the back. My family is so supportive. It's great. Okay, so no job. And no job, can you do that? Coming from a realtor, please have mercy. Okay. I almost wish I would have done this at the kitchen table because this would have been highly entertaining with them at the helm here. Plus, they've had a few glasses of wine, so it's always extra fun with that. Okay, consistency, number 1. Personal development. Every single diamond on that trip was reading a personal development book. And we all were saying, what are you reading? What are you reading? What am I reading? We were all sharing what each other were reading. What are you going to do for your book club next? What are you going to do for your team next? Everybody is immersed in personal development no matter what level you are, whether you're double diamond as Celeste Gwynn or you are a brand new diamond like myself. The third thing I noticed, everybody has had slumps. Every single person has had a slump or been in a funk. But one thing that they don't ever do is they don't let the funk show through publicly. Because you have to, again, remain consistent. You have to. That doesn't mean you can't come and have a bad day and vent to your friend. This is what we were talking about on book club this last week. It's okay for you to be vulnerable with people. That doesn't mean your whole Facebook friends list has to know everything that's going on in your life all the time. You can still be authentic without showing every single detail of your life. Call your friend about their really dirty laundry. Just put a little bit of your imperfect life on Facebook, but not all of it all the time. And if you aren't sure where that line is, reach out to someone who you think might be a good person to give you advice for that. Number 4, integrity. If you have to worry about what you say, take some time to invest in yourself with personal development. Because if you're constantly looking over your shoulder, wondering if someone is going to repeat something that you said, or if you ever have to say to someone, please don't tell them I told you that. then take some time to work on your integrity and your character. Because as a leader, we have to have very strong character and we have to have integrity, or else we cannot lead our team the way that we were meant to lead our team. So work through the summer, but set a timer. Give yourself 15 to 20 minutes, get your IPA done, and then fit everything else in between. And if you are feeling like you are a dead fish in the water and your team is just on vacation too, do something right now to change that. Figure out what that is. It doesn't have to cost a lot of money, but look at what money. Say to yourself, okay, if I had 10 people join my team this week, how much would I make in welcome packs from that? Get that number of money in your head and then figure out a contest and put that money into your business, because it was money you would have never earned anyway. Be smart about it though. Brooke, this is something that Brooke taught me together last summer, is we said, okay, well, if we earn Leaders Retreat, this is last year, we're not doing this year, but if we help our people to earn Leaders Retreat, we're going to earn the $1,000 of fun money. So let's pay for their plane tickets to fly to Dallas, because that was money we wouldn't have earned anyway if they didn't earn Leaders Retreat. So think logically about your business. What money could you make based off of the momentum your team is in that you wouldn't have made anyway? Put that money back into your team. Every small business owner that I know has to put money into their business to get it to grow. Whether you are opening a pizza shop or creating a network marketing team. And I think that a lot of times in network marketing, we forget that we need to put money back into our teams. And the teams that grow slower are the ones that put less back into their business. And that might mean that some of your goals aren't met as fast as you want them to be met outside of your Plexus business, right? Brooke, what are your thoughts on all this? Tell me, you're nodding a lot, but.
Well, I agree with that. I mean, everyone has to do it a different way, and you don't have to give everything away. But I just think that a lot of times in network marketing, people think that they have a little bit of a scarcity mentality, and so they start getting these paychecks and they want to just hang on to them, and they don't think of it as a traditional business. And in a traditional business, you have to do sales, incentives, prizes, things like that. You have to do that to encourage growth. And so I feel like it's been an important part of what we have done to help grow our teams. And we do it because we love you guys. We want to help you guys grow your business. We know that it's motivating to work for something, whether it's a keychain or a $25 gift card. Like, it's fun to work for something. So I agree with this. And I feel like it's been, when we look at other teams, like she said, some other Emeralds that we know that have been, stuck in Emerald for a year and a half, or 2 years or 3 years, because they haven't invested back into their business, because they feel like, well, this is my money. This is money that I earned, when it's like, really, not really. Your team helped you earn that money. So I think that perspective is very good.
Well, and that was the biggest light bulb moment that went off for me last summer, when we were really trying to push ourselves into momentum. So if you're sitting here and you're thinking, how do I get into momentum? Think about, how can you reward your team with money that you wouldn't be making if you didn't encourage them to be motivated in the first place.
Yeah.
And like Brooke said, you don't have to give away all of it. It doesn't have to be expensive. It can be very small, but just be creative.
Right.
And think outside of the box and bounce ideas off of the people on your team who you work with every day, and say, what do you think if we did this? And think, okay, make logical choices with your money. Not like, okay, free membership for a week. That's not smart. That's not, you're not going to make that back. You're going to put yourself in the red for doing that. Not to say that we haven't done that on occasion, because we have, but I think we are so much smarter about our incentives now than we were a year ago.
Yeah, for sure.
Kendra Scott necklaces are a perfect example of that. Brooke put in there, Kendra Scott necklaces, baby. Those were great though. But even though they weren't necessarily the smartest incentive we ever did, everybody still wears them and has such good memories about how they worked to earn them. And every time I see someone wearing one, I think, oh, I remember when we did that together.
Yeah.
It created that unity, right? So, just be creative and go get your people. No one else is going to get them but you, and have the vision for them.
So true. Such awesome advice. Like, and I love like how boldly you're sharing it, because kind of what I'm going to talk about is like really the truth, right? So we have this conference every year. There's always certain leaders that get up in our church and speak, and there's always like one person who has to like say the real stuff, right? So she just kind of told us the real stuff, and I'm going to tell you some more real stuff. But what I'm going to share with you to finish up this meeting are 10 tips from Alec Clark, the president of our company, who's been in the network marketing industry for a very long time. And I want you to write these tips down if you have a pen, because I want you to look at these, and I want you to build your business and live your life by these standards, because these are really great standards. And if you follow these standards in your business, you will be successful in your business, in your marriage, in your life, in paying off your debt, whatever it is. So the first thing is set standards and don't deviate from it. So if you set a certain standard for your business, that's a standard you're always going to maintain. You're never going to deviate from it. There's not going to be a gray area, but there are certain standards that you're always going to stick with in your business. The second thing that he said that kind of goes along with what Emily said is smile. Always smile, even when you're having a bad day. Just like she said, your life doesn't have to be perfect on social media, but you don't need to like share random things that aren't going to do anything and air your dirty laundry and share every single post and every single video and everything. Like, you don't have to put everything out there, and you can always smile. And this goes a long way with customer service, because who's ever had delayed shipping orders? Who's ever had someone that was unhappy, or their products came damaged, or their order wasn't right? And you can either be frustrated with people or frustrated with the situation and grumpy about it, or you can just put on a happy face and deal with it. So smile even when you don't want to. The next thing was be disciplined. This is such a huge thing, guys. Discipline cannot be underrated. If you lack discipline in your life, I want to tell you that you can gain discipline by small actions every single day. Like Christy and Lee talked about, if it's 15 minutes on the toilet, be disciplined with 15 minutes on the toilet. And if you're disciplined with that time, you're going to feel so proud of yourself. Your integrity is going to go up. You are going to feel accomplished. It's going to encourage you to have even more discipline. So don't start out, if you're not working your IPA and you haven't been really working your business consistently, don't sit down and say, I'm going to do 2 hours of IPA every day the rest of the summer. You're going to fail at that, and you're not going to be able to be disciplined at that. So let's be realistic, and for your first week, start a goal, 15 minutes. If you can do that every single day, 6 out of 7 days a week, then maybe week 2 you can say 30 minutes. I'm going to do 30 minutes, 6 days a week, and be disciplined with that. That is going to give you a sense of accomplishment and a positive attitude as you move forward. If you can't be disciplined, you will struggle with everything in your life. And it's not easy to be disciplined. I tell you, like, man, I am 31 weeks pregnant and it is stinking hot in Hawaii. I'm like sitting here sweat. I got sweaty butt crack. I got sweaty cleavage. I got sweaty everything right now. And I'm still working out and I hate it. I'll just tell you right now, I hate it. But I'm like, I am 31 weeks pregnant. I am staying fit. That's how I get at the end of the month. If I haven't sponsored 3 to 5 people, I'm like, I am doing this, dang it. This month is not ending without me going silver. Be disciplined and you will grow. Sweaty, yeah, I know. It's it's hot here, Brooke. Come on now. So be disciplined. The next one is live the golden rule, okay? So do unto others as you would have done unto you. Do that to the best of your ability. Nobody is perfect. Nobody makes the right choice every single time. So do the best that you can do for other people. If you want them to do something, or you want them to react to you in a certain way, then you have to react to them in that way or treat them that same way. And it's not easy because some days we're tired, some days we're cranky, some days we just can't deal with it, right? So do your best to live the golden rule. One of my favorite ones that he said is don't complain. This is a hard one, right? It's so easy when things are difficult to complain. And I will tell you, if you get into this mode of complaining with people in your downline, people that you're working with, just complaining on Facebook, if you're just that complainer, you're not going to have that positive aura that's going to draw people to you. You're not going to draw good things to you. It doesn't mean you can't have a bad day and you can't have your inner circle that you complain to. But I remember back when Emily and I were building our businesses, gold, senior gold, ruby, senior ruby, all this momentum. I don't know, some of you that were with us, you remember all those shipping problems, 2 to 3 week delays, like PTSD. Like I told my sister that when that was going on, my daily routine was to wake up and sit on hold for 2 hours to get through to customer service with a list of issues to get through. And I just did it. I just handled it because my choice was either to complain and pout and throw away the potential of the opportunity or suck it up and do it.
And then we ran customer service store out of our pantry. And so
right.
Any products that we had, we were basically giving to our people just to get them started because we had to wait for 3 weeks for them to get their stuff.
Yep, we did.
Just so that their what we then called backup order would go through.
Yeah.
So that we could rank the next month.
Yeah. So there was a lot of that, just taking on a load, right? If you want something great, you're like, man, I want to make $5,000 a month, or I want to be an emerald, or even if you're like, I want to be a ruby, there are going to be certain things that you have to take upon you and inconveniences, and you can either complain about them and let that be a stumbling block, or you can let it fuel you. My mom had a difficult time. I'll share a story real quick in her life where my dad and her had issues with a spiritual leader, their pastor, and he was really not being kind to them. And she said, this damn gospel better be true because nobody's going to keep me out of the church. And I'm going to go to church and nobody's going to stop me. And so I feel like when we had to go through all of that and we were on hold for 2-3 hours a day and running a pantry out of our closet of Plexus stuff and dealing with everyone's complaints with a smile on our face, everything's going to be okay. It's because we were saying this damn business better work because nobody is going to stop me from becoming a jewel and going to the top of this company. And guess what? We did it.
Yeah.
It wasn't easy.
Because I wanted the dang trip to Hawaii and I wanted the Lexus because I'm a blue, in case you didn't know.
And she got it. But that's the thing. It's like you can make a choice. You can complain and let it stall you, or you can just deal with it and put a smile on your face and do the best you can do and reach out for help if you don't know what to do. You have jewels above you that can help you, and we want to help you.
And other things, positive affirmations.
Yes.
Please.
Positive.
I remember Brooke and I would call each other on the phone when 3 people would want to shut off, and I would call her and I'd be like, I am the master of retention. I am the master of retention. And I remember on the other end of the line, she's like, oh, is it? I haven't had time to check. I just woke up. It was like 6:30 in Hawaii, right? She's like, is it bad today? Is it bad? Okay, great. How's the hold time on customer service? Like, just find somebody that's really positive.
Yep. And you just
and just say positive things to them, even on a negative day. Exactly. It will make you feel better.
Exactly. Real quick, a couple other things he said is serve others. Find someone to serve. And I think we have lots of examples on our team of people that are serving others. I remember, Rachel sharing in one of our meetings, Rachel Miner, how, having a paycheck allowed them to do something nice for somebody else, or Jessica Curzon saying, having a paycheck allowed her to pay for the movies for her friends. Do nice things for other people, not just on your team, but give service and do nice things for other people, even outside of your team. Really important, be humble. And I think that you guys, we have a really great humble team, but as you're growing and as your team is getting bigger, just always remember to be humble. The last couple of things were set goals and write them down. We could do an entire call about setting goals and writing them down, and maybe we will someday. But I am a huge proponent of this, and I forced Miss Emily to do that in the beginning, and it was really hard because she's not a planner and she doesn't like goals. But now she loves them. So if you write down what it is you want, and here's what I want to say. Okay, I'm going to end with this because I get really fired up about this, okay? Have you ever sat down and really told God exactly what you want? Like in detail. Like you could feel it. Every little bit of exactly what you want without any guilt or shame or feeling like I shouldn't want that. I should be happy with what I have without any of that. Just a second, Jacob. Motherhood. Okay, so what I did is on my flight back from convention, I happened to be alone. And for 1 hour, I wrote in my journal everything that I wanted. Everything that was in my heart that I wanted that I had never written down, and why I wanted it and what that felt like. Not just a bullet point of I want to pay off my debt, I want to own my house free and clear. No, not like that. I mean like this is what I really want, and this is why, and this is what it's going to feel like, and own it. And I want to encourage you guys to do that, because if you haven't owned what it is you really want, and you haven't given yourself permission to know that it's okay to want things, it's okay to want good things for yourself, for your family, for others. It is okay. If you haven't owned it, you're never going to have it. So you've got to sit down and you've got to write it down. And that to me goes along with what he said about writing down your goals. But I don't mean just a bullet point. I want to encourage you this week or at least this month to sit down and really do it in detail. And it's going to take some time, and you're going to have to find a quiet space, and it's got to be at the right time when you feel soft in your heart and you feel inspired, and you just pour it all out. And then I shared it with my husband, and I said, honey, now I want you to do this. I want you to do this. I want your shareholders to do it, because I want them to share with you if their life could be what they wanted their life to be for themselves, for their posterity, for whatever it is. What would that look like? What would it feel like? So that is what I want to end with. I want you to know that anything that you want, anything that you desire, that you apply yourself to, that you work for, you are the only one. And as you work on your belief and then you put yourself into action, you are unstoppable, unstoppable. So I loved everything that everybody shared tonight. We love you guys so much from the bottom of our hearts. We pray for you guys. I know all of us leaders pray for you guys. Like, we want your success so badly. And if we could get it for you, we would, but we can't. You have to get it for yourself. So thank you so much. I know we went forever, but it's been awesome spending the night with you. And we